We are sometimes our own harshest critics. We tend to hold ourselves to a higher moral standard, and when making errors, we may be more forgiving of others than ourselves. It is easy to be too judgmental of oneself if you have made errors in the past. But unfortunately, some individuals believe that they do not merit forgiveness and unconsciously punish themselves by beating themselves. Self-forgiveness takes work, humility, compassion, and comprehension. And although it's not always straightforward, your mental health needs to learn from your errors, let go, and move on. It is fantastic to have you back on this channel for another great dose of an excellent daily pill to enrich our bodies and minds. Today, our topic focuses on forgiving yourself for past mistakes. And in this video, let's explore the benefits you will obtain from life by forgiving yourself for past mistakes. Together, we will also consider the tips and steps you will need to take to forgive yourself for past mistakes. You are unique to us, and that is why it will be a privilege for us when you subscribe to our channel. So go ahead and do that. Someone recently inquired about methods for moving on and forgiving oneself after a very tough error or bad judgment. This deep-seated question in many people's minds might be particularly challenging if you feel as if you are constantly reliving the repercussions of your actions. So here are 3 highly psychologically proven tips that can help you forgive yourself and move on from your errors. Tip number 1 is for you to accept your error as your fault. Confronting your wrongdoings is the first step toward forgiving yourself. Do not provide explanations or attempt to defend your behavior. Instead, identify where you went wrong and make appropriate amendments. Finding inner tranquility is easier said than done. We've all done things we regret and wish our actions had led to different results. Whether you spend all the month's grocery budget on a new coat or miss the first half of your son's soccer game, understanding how to forgive yourself is essential to moving ahead. And the very first step to doing that is accepting wrongdoings and making corrections. Tip number 2 is to accept errors as learning experiences. Consider every one of your past mistakes a chance for personal development and growth. Taking your mistakes as a learning process will help you figure out where you could have performed better and devise a strategy for handling such circumstances in the future. In addition, this process might increase your assurance that you will not repeat your blunders. Remind yourself that everyone makes errors, including you. However, you are trying your best to prevent repeating the same mistakes, which is all that can be expected. We are only human, and mistakes happen. What matters is what you do next. Tip number 3 is to amend the damages. If your actions have wronged someone, you should apologize and search for methods to make amends. This tip might provide you with peace of mind knowing you did the right thing. Understand that there is no way to undo the past by traveling back in time. It would be best if you recognize that you might not be able to avoid the repercussions of your actions, but you can only continue to develop and improve via experience. Remembering past mistakes creates more damage than good. However, once you've recognized what you've done and made efforts to repair whatever harm you've caused, you can let go and concentrate on making better decisions in the future. After getting these tips that will help you forgive yourself for past mistakes, the next question is, what steps do I take to apply these tips and make them work for me? So, let's now consider some critical steps you need to take to heal from all your past mistakes. The first step you need to take is to understand your personality type. It is natural to assume that one personality type is superior to the others. However, the reality is that there is no ideal or worst personality type. Instead, most of us have a set of unconsciously held standards for how we expect ourselves to act. But these norms, many of which we learned as children without much thought, are not always practical. Understanding your personality traits is like staying conscious of your inner mind. This process of self-awareness will help you stay alert to recognize when you have been offended and when you are the one offending others. So, this step is one of the most desirous for anyone seeking total forgiveness for themselves. The second step you have to take when applying the tips for forgiving yourself for past mistakes mentioned earlier is to identify the hurt. It's important to realize that the sad emotions, guilty feelings, and stomach tension you experience every time you think about your error are causing you to feel awful, not what you did 60 seconds ago or 15 years ago. Your current response to it is generating an issue. This awful feeling is a habit that you must break by taking the time to identify what you have done that hurt your inner mind or what another person did to you that hurt you so much. You cannot talk about forgiveness without following this step of identifying the hurt. The third step you need to take to apply the tips that can help you forgive yourself successfully is to apologize to yourself and any other party involved in your self-conflict. An apology is a healing pill required to treat the infection of hate, anger, envy, bitterness, and all other harmful things that come from a lack of forgiveness. Sometimes, all it takes to set things right is a heartfelt apology when you can't forgive yourself for what you've done to others. Apologies are most effective when delivered in person. However, many people are not usually bold enough to take action to apologize to make things better. If it is not easy for you to apologize directly to those you offended, try incorporating humor into your apology and make sure you send your apology in a way that it will not be misconstrued. You will reap the fantastic benefits when you successfully apply these tips and steps to forgiving yourself for past mistakes. So, I would like us to look at some of the benefits to our bodies and minds when we forgive ourselves for past mistakes. The benefits of forgiving yourself for past mistakes. Forgiving yourself heals a wound in your heart. When you forgive yourself, you achieve peace of mind. Forgiving yourself will kill all forms of fear, anxiety, and depression. Self-forgiveness will strengthen your coping and survival skills. Self-forgiveness will help you become more positive in your relationships. By forgiving yourself, you set an excellent example for others. At this juncture, we conclude our discussion on the subject, but I want to remind you that forgiving may make you happy. Never undervalue the power of forgiveness. For both yourself and others. However, sometimes it is more difficult to forgive oneself than others. The reason is that mistakes that have been nagging you for some time are more difficult to forget. They are comparable to the last music you heard that wouldn't leave your brain. You need resolution, or the trauma will continue to resurface. We believe this video's lessons will help you live a better and more healthy lifestyle. Our purpose is to provide you daily pill of positivity and good energy to overcome the ugly things life throws at us. We wish you to continue succeeding in all you do.